Hey, how's it going? It's Keaton, and welcome to what I'm going to call Side Quest. This is a sort of unscripted show where I talk about a game that I've been playing a lot recently that I don't necessarily want to make, an hour, 30-minute video about, but I do want to talk about. So there's no script. I don't have any notes, but I will edit this down just for, posterity, time's sake, all that. So anyway, let's get into it. Today I want to talk about Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is, for those who don't know, but most of you probably do, the new game from Pearl Abyss. It's the team who made Black Desert Online, and they've come back with Crimson Desert, which is essentially just a sort of spin-off, not the same universe, but kind of, let's say, like Final Fantasy, how these are all separate things, but carry over some traits. It's its own thing, but it's kind of riffing off of Black Desert Online, and it's a single-player, almost, I would call it an MMO for people who don't want to play an MMO. Like, it's a single player game. It's a purchase, one time, full package, single player game. But oh my god, there's just so much shit in this game. Like, it's baffling to me how much you can really do. For context, I don't like MMOs, and I don't like open world games at all. GTA just bores the hell out of me. I hate those games. I do not have fun playing them. More power to you if you do. I don't think they're bad games. They're just not for me. Dragon Age I've tried, just these big Ubisoft games that, oh my god, stay away. I tend to prefer very linear, well thought out, constructed, sort of, let's call them 20 to 30 hour intentional experiences, right? I like that curated sort of, here's what's going to happen, and then this is next, and this is next, and I'm not pulled 16 ways sideways by, 15 different objectives scattered across the map. If I open it up and I go, oh my god, there's a billion things to do here, what am I going to do? That's bad for me. I get so distracted, and if I do the main story, I feel like I'm neglecting the side content, and if I focus on the side content, I'm neglecting the main story, and I've got to complete it all, right? Like, I can't just leave stuff undone. If there's a check marker on it, I have to do it. And that's why Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was terrible for me, because I loved it. I did everything. And so with that, Black Desert or Crimson Desert is not the kind of game I would typically play. And at first I wasn't going to buy it. I had no intention of picking up the game. But then I heard Dragons Dogma comparisons start happening, and that's when things started to kind of change for me. So as much as I don't like open world games, I fucking love Dragons Dogma. I picked up Dragons Dogma 1, the full shebang edition with the Isle, Bitter Black Isle expansion, and I just blasted through it. I think I played it like twice. I don't know what it is about that game. Just the sense of adventure, the weird world, it clicked. It clicked hard, and I loved the first Dragon's Dogma. I played the second Dragon's Dogma, and I loved it just as much as the first. So that's the exception for the open world games. And so as soon as I was hearing, hey, Crimson Desert it's got a little bit of that, that Dragon's Dogma sauce. I was like, oh, this might be the one. I probably have to play this. And so I called my brother who was playing the game. He said he was having fun with it. And I said, you know what? Why not? Let me just take a swing at it. I'll pick it up while it's new, and I'll just give it a shot. I'll see if I like it. So far, do I like it? Well, I'm about 10 hours, maybe 11 hours into the game. I've been doing main quest and side quest stuff, and I think I've hit a healthy balance of it. I'm on about chapter 3 or 4 of the main story. I've just established the Greymane's camp, which is not a spoiler. There's not going to be any spoilers in this video, for that matter. This is like super early game stuff, and I mean, this is like 100-hour game at least. I'm overwhelmed by how much you can do. But let's kind of talk about it. I mean, it is first and foremost an action RPG. So you play as Cliff, John Desert, and he's just kind of a guy, In Dragon's Dogma, you could make your own character, but that's typically not a thing I like doing. In those games, I just opted to make my main guy look as close as I could to the box art dude. He has an official name. I don't remember what it is, but editor Keaton will right here put up the name of the Dragons Dogma guy. That's what I made my guy look like in both of those games. And so I'm okay with Cliff Desert being our man. You don't get to create a character. You don't get to alter Cliff's like hair, at least not that I've seen so far. 10 hours into the game. He is who he is. He's a gruff, kind of meat and potatoes, big fight man, and you do big fights as him, and that's enough. His voice actor is excellent. I can't remember his name, but it's the guy from Still Wakes the Deep, and he does a great job. I mean, he doesn't have a lot here. It's mostly nothing. It's a lot of like, oh yeah, and what, and then like repeating the thing. So someone will say like, oh, John Desert, I need you to go check out the Biggledy Quarry, and he'll go, the Biggledy Quarry, and then you go down and you do the thing. So I mean, the dialogue kind of sucks, but it's performed well. So point there. That said, the story is not good, and it's not bad. What do I mean by that? Sort of the setup of Crimson Desert is that you're a member of the Greymanes, which is like a band of do-gooders. You're essentially a gang, but a gang for good. And as you are upholding the peace in this land, I think it's called Paywell, and then there's like a greater continent. The ruler of the continent is assassinated, and these guys called the Black Bears, I believe, show up, and they are a gang for evil. And the Black Bears show up, and they start just killing everyone you know. They raid your camp, and you get as many out as you can. And in the kerfuffle, you're killed by their leader, and just thrust into a river. And that's kind of the impetus of the game. That's where it kicks off from. And through magical, Assassin's Creed animus, all kinds of weird shit sort of means you're brought back to life, and you have to search the land and regroup your merry band of misfits and go take down the big evil man and possibly save the world. It's nothing special, really. I mean, it's a pretty basic premise for an RPG. If you've played really any video game, you know what's happening and you know how it's going to go. In 10 hours in, there have been no surprises. Nothing has made me go, what? Really? That's crazy. It's been normal. But the story's not really what you're here for, and it wasn't in Dragons Dogma either, right? In Dragons Dogma, there's such a cool world, and there's this dragon and steals your heart, and you got to get it back, and there's a sort of a larger cosmic thing at play. But within that, there was mostly nothing, right? Some cool, interesting side characters, places and towns and castles that you wanted to visit. But other than that, it genuinely sucks. Dragon's Dogma doesn't have a good story. It's got a good world, it's got good ideas, it doesn't have a good story that is told in the game explicitly. And so far, Crimson Desert is the same. Really cool world. I like the characters, I like the NPCs that I'm running into. I think I was playing with my fiance, and she said it reminds her of like if The Witcher was really colorful, because that's like a very drab, sort of gray, dark game. And this is not. This is super beautiful. This is super colorful. The open world is staggeringly large. I mean, the render distance or the draw distance on what you can see is just stupid. I would say I don't like Bethesda games. Skyrim I've tried 5 or 6 times, and I just don't like that game. I cannot get it to be fun. And Todd, our man Todd, always says, hey, you see that mountain? You see that hill in the distance? You can go there. You can walk up that hill. And when you get there, there's absolutely nothing there. You have no reason to walk up that hill. You should just stick to the other shit in the game. So far in Crimson Desert, there has been reason to go up that hill. It reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild in the way that there are quest markers, there are lists of things that you should be doing, but I don't feel as compelled to do all of it just because of the staggering amount of content in this game. And I don't mean quests, I just mean things you can do. Like, there's a system in the game for everything, right? For example, there is a bank in the main city. I can't remember what the name of it is. It's like Hilda Hyla. I can't remember. I'll put it up. I'll put up a little thing here. I can't remember what the fuck it's called right now. But there's the main city. And within the main city, there's a bank. And as you're running around, you'll collect copper and silver, and eventually you can exchange silver for gold, and I think you can purchase copper or silver with copper. So there's this whole monetary system at play in the game. And once you get to the bank, you probably, if you've played an RPG, you think, oh, I can put items and extra money in the bank, which I don't know why you'd want to put money in the bank, because in most games when you die, you like lose money. So that's the incentive to like put your money in the bank, so that when you die, you'd be able to, not lose as much and have all this money in the bank. This game doesn't punish you monetarily for dying, but when you go to the bank, yes, you can exchange your copper for silver, I believe, and then exchange silver for gold at certain rates. But there's this whole financial system at play where you can invest your money with a different investment strategy depending on what you think is right for you. And there's some sort of real-time economy at play where you'll yield different dividends based upon the investment strategy you chose, and that will change throughout the game. So in this one RPG where you can run around, if you want to, you can just say fuck it to the whole quest and be like a banker and just like analyze the stock markets of the game and see what kind of yield you can get from your investment, right? Like if you thought the turnip market in Animal Crossing was something, you have no idea, right? And that's just one system. There's like a system in place for mining ore and turning it into different weapons and items that you can use at like a smithy. There's a whole mechanic. You have an axe and you can just go up to any tree you want in the open world and smack it with your axe and cut the whole thing down, right? Like right next to towns and stuff, and get lumber and timber for it. There are goods that you can obtain that can't be sold to normal merchants in town or on the roads. They're packaged goods, and so if you want to be able to sell them, you either need to go to a fence who can sell packaged goods, or you need to purchase a cart, or maybe you can rent one. I don't know. I haven't done it yet. But you have to get a cart, and because their packaged goods are so heavy, you need to load them all onto a cart and then ride that cart to a trading post where you can sell all of your stuff. So, I mean, it's just crazy, right? I can't keep up with how much you can do in this game. You can genuinely get lost in this world, and that's why I say it feels like an MMO for single-player fans. It's got the insane array of stuff that you can do and engage with, right? In the way that I would imagine, like a Final Fantasy XIV or probably a Black Desert Online has that. But it's all in this one little package, and you can take it at your own pace and engage with it on your own, right? Away from other players and systems. Like, I don't play MMOs because I'm worried that, I don't have the time to invest in it enough, and if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to piss off whoever I'm raiding a dungeon with or something. So there's a lot here. You can really bite into it. If you determine the value of a game based upon how much time you can play it, the dollar to hour ratio here is good. I've seen some people complaining, being like, oh man, I'm 150 hours into the game and there's nothing to do. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like 150 hours? Oh my God. I mean, the most I've ever been able to invest in a game, I think I got to 350 hours in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. Granted, I don't have like an insane amount of time, but I feel like I have an impressive amount of free time to play games. So if you are a normal person who is satisfied with even a 60 to 70 hour experience, where for me that's almost too much. I start to be turned away because I'm like, well, I have time to play this. You're going to get plenty. You're going to get your dollar's worth. Outside of all of those systems, there is a bunch of exploration and sort of Breath of the Wild style puzzles that you can solve in the game. You get some tools. This is not a spoiler. You get some tools early on. There's like an alternate sky dimension, parallel plane, whatever you want to call it. But they give you physics tools, really. Just imagine the Breath of the Wild moveset, where you can, you can psychically lift things or, force push stuff, things like that. and you're going to use those physics tools to either navigate the environment or solve these little dungeon puzzles. And as you do that, you'll get rewarded with upgrade points that you can spend on a pretty fun skill tree that's split 3 ways. In there, you can either unlock a bunch of moves for combat, and I'll get into combat, but it's pretty fun. You can unlock and upgrade your like force abilities, the physics stuff that I'm talking about. And then the third one that you can unlock is, I think it was like just your navigational abilities. I'll have to look, but essentially there are 3 trees, right? And so along with those, you can upgrade your basic like health, stamina, and your magic meter. But yeah, as you're running around, you'll bump into all kinds of different factions of guards, bandits, enemies, orcs, you name it. And that's where like combat really comes into play. So Crimson Desert is an action game, a lot like Dragons Dogma is, right? It's an action RPG. And if you liked Dragons Dogma, I don't want to say that you'll like absolutely love Crimson Desert system, because it is different. It's not the same, but it is fun, and it has that same level of like experimental jank that I like in Dragon's Dogma. So to kind of break it down for you, as Cliff Desert, you have a basic attack. If you've played, this is going to sound bad, but if you've played Final Fantasy 15, it's kind of similar, right? You hold down the right bumper if you're playing on a controller, and I would strongly recommend you play on a controller for this game. As long as you're holding down the right bumper, Cliff will pull out his sword and just do like a really basic attack, and you just hold the button. You don't need to like time button presses or mash it repeatedly. You just hold the button, and Cliff will swing at the nearest guy. There's a sort of auto lock on. If you've played a third-person action game, you get it, right? It's pretty simple. And if you do that, that's usually enough to kind of just kill most guys one-on-one. And it's fun, but it's not the most engaging thing on its own, right? In isolation. However, unlike Final Fantasy 15, that isn't the only thing you do. Within that, and from what I've seen with Black Desert, this is kind of a carryover from that, you have this big, expansive moveset that you don't have right away, but you can spend your skill points to unlock, and there's sort of different facets of it, right? So you have your sword, but you can also unlock two-handed greatswords, spears, and hammers, I think. There's like 4 variants of melee weapon that you can stick with. And using all of those, you can unlock a bevy of moves, right? So holding right trigger instead of the right bumper does a big heavy attack, and then you can combine holding right trigger and the right bumper, to do like a big charged overhead attack. So if a guy's blocking with a shield, you can be like, get out of my fucking way, and slam down over him and break his guard and then kill him that way. And then there's also some unique button combinations. I would say it's not quite the same as like Smash Bros, but for example, you can hold right bumper and press the triangle button on a PlayStation controller, and it'll cause Cliff to do like a big stabbing attack. And you can upgrade that stabbing attack so that normally, at first, he just kind of charges it, you can aim it, and he does his little lunging stab. But if you upgrade it, you can charge it, aim it, he does his lunging stab, and if it connects, it'll pierce the body of this guy, and now you have like a meat shield on your sword that you can walk around with, and like archers will be shooting at you, and they're just pelting this poor man on your sword, and then you can, slit his throat and kick him off your sword and keep fighting. So there's a bunch of moves like that to unlock, right? You don't have to engage with it, but if you choose to, I think you're going to have a lot more fun, and that's what I've been doing, so I would recommend it. You can also do hand-to-hand combat. Really, you just unlock wrestling moves, and it's pretty cool. I thought it was stupid at first. I looked at the skill tree, and I was like, really? In my fantasy game, this is what we're doing? But it actually works. It really kind of fits in a strange way. I don't know if I did it in my footage. If I did, it'll be here. If it's not, I'm sorry. You'll have to just play it and look at it. But you can clothesline people, which is pretty cool. You can drop kick them like a big jumping donkey kick and just launch them, right? It's great when you're on like a big cliff face and you're fighting a guy. You just wind up and send him flying off the edge. It's so satisfying, right? Just ragdolls and hits the ground. And you can also do a double jump into a big sort of E-Honda belly slam. And that is less fun. I just have trouble getting it to work because the double jump is kind of iffy, and you have a glider that you get to navigate sort of jumping off cliffs midair. It's just Breath of the Wild's glider. But trying to trigger the double jump and then go into the slam all the time, I'm either not performing the double jump or I'm triggering Cliff's glider. So kind of useless. I don't like that. That's really annoying. That is part of the jank of this game that gets in the way of it being more fun, but I digress. Combat is cool. It's interesting. It's fun. It is either, in my experience, and I'm only, 10 hours in, so take this with a grain of salt, too easy when it's one-on-one with grunt enemies. I've had some encounters against 4 bandits or 5 bandits at a time, and it's like not even, I could close my eyes. I could like go take a water break and just rubber band my bumper down and everyone would be dead by the time I got back. Or you're fighting probably upwards of 150 enemies on screen at a time, right? Huge crowds of dudes. And then it feels really unbalanced. I don't know what everyone else's experience has been, but I've been getting absolutely smoked by crowds of people, right? And I've tried changing up weapons to mix it up. Maybe I just don't have enough moves at my disposal yet to kind of handle crowd control, but I'm just like getting pelted on from, 30 different directions. And I'm trying to move out and isolate a couple guys and pick them off. And, they all just shift. And I'm just getting crushed. And while you're doing this, to heal, you just eat food. So I'm cooking tons of food at camps, which looks hideous, right? Food looks bad in this game. But I'm cooking all this food, and I'm going into fights, and I'm just pounding food. Like, Cliff is calorie maxing. This man is cultivating mass, right? So I'm fighting all these dudes, and I'm just eating tons of meat and poultry and fish to just keep my health up as they're wailing away at me. And that reminds me a lot of Dragons Dogma, right? Dragons Dogma, especially the first game, had a busted healing system where you could just, in the middle of any point in combat, any animation, right? You could be flying 30 feet through the air, pause, eat 30 health items, you're golden, keep going. And this is pretty much the same. You can brute force your way through any fight in the game. Bosses have been mixed. I've fought 2 bosses so far, right? And I don't hate them and I don't love them. I would say Pearl Abyss really needs to work on designing bosses that are structured to work with this combat system. In my experience, they have staggered sometimes, right? I'll wait for an opening, I'll dodge all their stuff, and then I'll go in for a hit. And sometimes they do stagger and I kind of get a combo off. And I'm like, okay, they're probably going to start swinging at me again, so I'll back up and wait for the next thing. Sometimes they just don't give a shit, and you'll get 2 or 3 great hits on them, and then they'll just wail on you, right? And a lot of times you want to do cooler, more unique moves to try to fight them, but then you're locked into a fairly lengthy animation for Cliff doing whatever attack he's doing, and they'll just instantly snap out of being staggered and just rip something on you that you're not prepared for, and it'll take down like half of your health, right? Like a lot of your health. So that sucks. Boss fights honestly suck. They're not fun. They are a weak point of the game. But that said, it's an interesting, big, wide open world. There's a ton of stuff to do. There is a story to engage with, despite what people are saying. It's not always good. But I just did a mission where I had to, and this again, early game, super early. You're gonna see this. Not a huge spoiler. I had to sneak into sort of like a church healing sort of place, a healing monastery, to rescue one of our friends from our camp. And it turns out they were like lobotomizing, like magically lobotomizing everyone in there. And he had he'd overheard someone talking shit about our group of bandits, or our group of good men, our group of jolly good men at a bar. And he tried to stick up for us, and then like 30 guys were there, and they all came out and dragged him away. They were going to try to lobotomize him. So we had to rescue him, and we learn about, what's going on at this healing place, and we see, civilians outside, and we can talk to them, and they're like, oh no, my family's in there, but they won't let me in because I need a pass. So stuff like that's interesting. There are parts of the world and the story and moments where it really shines through. They're just kind of few and far between. So if you're here for the story, that's probably a mistake. But if you're here for the gameplay and you occasionally get to enjoy the world, that's probably the safest way to have fun with the game, I would say. But yeah, Crimson Desert's cool. I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to play more of it. I really want to like dig in. I feel like I'm just getting started, and from what I've seen, there's so much more stuff that you can do in the game. So I'm definitely gonna do it. And maybe after I finish it, I might even look at Black Desert online. I don't know. Crimson Desert's a pretty cool game. I'm genuinely enjoying what I've got so far. It's not perfect, but honestly, that reminds me of other games I've been playing, like Stellar Blade, that are kind of these cool new entries into like the action genre or the RPG genre, and they're doing something new, but they're not necessarily perfect. And that's Crimson Desert. It's a really fun 7 out of 10. So yeah, if you like RPGs, I'd say check it out. It's worth it if you've got the money to spend. And if you don't worry. It's still going to be there. They're patching it, so it's only going to get better. And just pick it up on sale. So yeah, what do you guys think about Crimson Desert? Let me know. I'm excited to play more. I'm definitely going to dig into more. And I'm absolutely not going to make a big video about it, because it's like 109 hours long. I ain't editing that footage. So yeah, let me know what you think. This has been Side Quest. If you like this, check out my more well put together, longer form scripted content. I just did a video about Devil May Cry for its 25th anniversary. So if you like that, go check it out. Like, subscribe, support the channel. It helps a bunch. Fucking like button, share, all that stuff. Good things. Anyway, I'm out.
Why? You should be thanking me! Oh, the cleansing all those evil thoughts! Oh, you fucker! Thank you.